Hey, Chris. So good to be here with you, outside and socially distanced, of course, and looking forward to talking to you about technology and the future of work.
Great to finally be back in person with you. I know, I think the last time we got together was in November when you first started. So it's feels good to be back and seeing you live and in person.
The last 12 months have been so incredible, so incredibly difficult for organizations, for individuals. The pandemic has forced organizations to entirely reimagine how they communicate with their workforce, how they support them, how they connect. I had a chance just recently to talk to Josh about what's happening, the insights from last year. And he raised a lot of really interesting points about how HR has had to refocus and how issues like skills and experience management have really risen to the surface as the new topics to focus on for this coming year.
It's been a long year. I remember in the March, April timeframe when the pandemic first happened, and our customers were struggling with how they were going to kind of deal and manage through what they needed to do. And early on, we came out with an employee care package to help employers kind of manage incidents related to COVID, and workforce health and safety was at the center of that. And so, we've come a long way, and now, kind of at a point where customers are really pivoting forward and looking how they can kind of grow out of the pandemic as we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's going to be great to get back and really, focus on some of these new initiatives we have and really start to innovate again with our customers.
Yeah, well, you talk about innovation, and just recently we published that press release on the announcement of Oracle Journeys, our new employee experience platform. And again, in my conversation with Josh Bersin, he was very excited about this. And as you probably recall, he actually wrote an article that articulated more about our capabilities there and the importance of the employee experience overall.
Absolutely. I mean, the employee experience is something that's hot in the market. I know Josh Bersin's been talking about it a lot, and I really liked his perspective and how he kind of focused on kind of how HR technology has moved from kind of the system of record to experience to engagement, and now it's all about the system of design. And we really believe that, and we really believe that allowing HR to begin to innovate and be innovators in the organization is something that they're all going to rally around. And we started this, a few years ago with our Experience Design Studio and really putting the power to configure the system into HR's hands. And I really feel the enterprise employee experience platform Journeys that we're delivering now is going to take it to the next level. But we've had a chance to talk to a number of our customers, and I've spoken to Hearst, I've spoken to DPDHL, I've spoken to Co-op, and they have some great perspectives. And so why don't we listen to what they have to say?
Employee experience has been a topic on our agenda for quite some time, and the pandemic massively accelerated this. And we have established it by connecting them digitally to our company, providing them with an opportunity to connect via an DPDHL employee app, which is the platform or the touch point to embed digital HR services or non-HR services for the first time.
I think that there is an incredible increase in the feeling of loyalty and allegiance to the company by trying to personalize the employee experience, letting people know that you really care. We've developed a lot of goodwill from all of our efforts to make sure our employees are well taken care of, with the focus on making sure that people continue to feel connected even though they're working remotely.
We focus on metrics like turnover, engagement, even like workplace incidents and unscheduled time off. And we've come up with a healthy culture index. And over the past 5 years, we've been spotlighting that index as a way to identify areas within the organization where our experience is strong and other areas where we can improve it.
From the HR perspective, we have even better understood what the HCM, the Oracle platform, could bring to us. And now with this remote working, I think is one of our best tools.
We need to make sure we put the right bits of the policy in the right technology so the customer journey is seamless. And what we found is the product is perfectly flexible to give us those personalizations where they're needed, and they're really and they really enrich what a colleague does or how they interact with the platform. But at essence, we want to have that standard way of doing things.
Well, it's very clear from what we just heard that the employee experience is top of mind. And what's really important is ensuring that personalization and relevance of information during those experiences. I know Chris at the press release gave us some of the details, but take us through a little bit in more detail. Why did we build Journeys the way we did? What's the benefit and the opportunity for customers?
When we think about, an enterprise employee experience platform, it really is about helping employees, managers, associates really be guided through a set of processes and orchestrated through a number of steps to simplify and make them more productive as they're kind of working through their day-to-day work activities. And the employee experience platform really allows us to bring together and simplify common tasks that are done within the enterprise. And these tasks cover all different areas. They can be personal tasks like career development. They can be professional tasks. They can be operational tasks. They can be administrative tasks. And so what's nice about what we're delivering, it's not really just focused on HR. It's focused on a broader platform and a broader set of capabilities that can cut across the enterprise. So it's really exciting to be able to do that and to announce that we're delivering a true employee experience platform called Oracle HCM Cloud Journeys. And I'm super excited to be announcing that. And it's something that I think not only are the HR teams going to be able to drive the next level of innovation within their organizations and really make them the hub of innovation and driving a lot of simplicity into their business, but it's going to allow their workers to be more productive and make getting, certain tasks done that could be mundane or could be hard to find or hard to figure out what to do a lot simpler and easier to do. So really excited about it, and I know we're going to talk a little bit more about it, but this is probably, like you said earlier on, probably one of the biggest innovations we've delivered in a number of years.
Yeah, I love this. I love that it serves all the roles, right? Personal, professional, operational, administrative. I assume it expands beyond HCM as well to some extent. But tell me, how do I, as an individual, what does it mean for me to access Journeys? How do I get access to it?
It's real simple. And I love that we've simplified it to not only make it easy to understand, but easy to work and easy to leverage. So there's three components. The first component is what we're calling the Journeys Launchpad. And simply put, it's kind of the self-service area of the Journeys platform. We also have a component called the Journeys Builder. And as it states, this allows you to assemble and build journeys from scratch or edit them. And then kind of the secret sauce is the Journeys Extender that really allows you to extend to other systems. So let me just start by kind of outlining what the Journeys Launchpad is all about and how people get access. So the Journeys Launchpad is really that centerpiece where employees, associates, managers can come and get access to a range of journeys that they can go on and experiences that they can have. And let me walk you through a few simple ones. So they could be as simple as someone needs to take a leave of absence and they need to be orchestrated through a set of steps that walk them through how they go about doing that. It could be someone's looking to grow their career. And we could walk them through a series of steps to find a mentor, meet with other groups, join some communities. So what's nice about Journeys is it goes beyond the traditional onboarding and offboarding processes that we're used to, and it really tries to bring these experiences that you need to do and accomplish together in one place. But you also have, as part of the Launchpad, a place just for you, where you have your journeys that you're on. And you may be on 2, 3, 4, 5 journeys at the same time. I might be returning to the workplace and I might have a series of steps I need to go through for that. I might be growing my career. I might have some administrative journeys. And what's nice is I can go to one place and know what I'm working on and what journeys I'm going through. I think what would be helpful if I kind of walked you through an example of a return to the workplace journey. So something that we launched late last year, as organizations were starting to slowly move back to the workplace, we put out a return to workplace template, which was a seated journey, and it had a number of steps in it. And the first step was really a video that kind of outlined what the workplace protocols were so you could be safe in the workplace. We had another task that really allowed employees to, if they needed to get a COVID test, to find the right facility and sign up for the COVID test and get scheduled. We had a task that was associated with a survey. We've all filled out a COVID survey, right? Have you left, the state or the country in the last 14 days? Have you been sick? So a survey is embedded there. And some organizations have consolidated offices like we have, and we inserted a task to select an office space and have some integrations to a facilities management system if you have that in your organization. So a journey to return to the workplace, we've really simplified it so employees can come in, find the journey that's appropriate to them, and go ahead and go on that journey and make it easy to come back. But what's nice is, and one of the things that we really do differently is, the Journeys Launchpad allows you to find journeys and go on them or assign them to others. But we've done some things that are a little bit different. In the Journeys Launchpad and in the My Journeys area, we have the ability to trigger journeys based on changes in the transactional system. So this is really unique. So let's say, for instance, you just got married. So people try to push their weddings out of 2020 and move them into 2021. So let's say you got married in January, you couldn't wait, and you change your marital status. Well, we would trigger a journey for you to go beyond the simple transaction and make sure that you updated your spouse as a beneficiary, your significant other, to make sure that you added your spouse or significant other to your healthcare plan. So these types of journeys can be triggered based on changes in the transactional system. So it's really flexible and gives a lot of value without you having to think and always go search for a particular journey or experience that you want to go on.
Yeah. So you can find these journeys, they're triggered, they're accessible on my desktop, my laptop. What about mobile, other experiences?
It's great. So one of the things that we've done is we've tried to allow you to work where you feel the most comfortable, right? So you can access journeys and you can access our HCM application in social platforms like Teams and Slack. So you can go in, and if you're using a Slack bot, get access to our HCM system. As well as we have a digital assistant, which a lot of our customers use. It's a conversational user experience, which we've been really investing in. And so if you're in the conversational experience and you are looking for a mentor, we might recommend a career development journey to go on where mentoring is a part of that journey. Or in the I just got married administrative use case, I might be updating my marital status in the digital assistant. And in that conversation, I might be recommended a journey. So what's nice is we're kind of bringing the Journeys platform to where you're at and where you want to work.
That's phenomenal, really. I'm so excited to be a part of that. I know that you talked about delivering best practice journeys. It sounds like you've built out some, tremendous journeys, but what about those who want to tailor it for their organization, right? What are my abilities to really make it unique to my company?
It's great, and I kind of call this the kind of secret sauce for HR. And this is really where, as Josh Bersin talked about, we really kind of move into the system of design, really letting HR innovate and build processes and orchestrate experiences based on what's best and kind of modified for their organization. So this component and part of our Journeys platform is called the Journeys Builder. And it's self-evident by the name. You can build and construct journeys. So what's nice is we seed a large number of kind of best practice templates. So we give you a bunch of best practice templates, and you can use those as starting points. You can take the return to workplace template as an example, and you can remove a few tasks and pull some new ones in from our task library. And in a matter of minutes, you can create a whole new experience, assign that to people in your workforce, and have them work on it. So the Journeys Builder really allows HR and managers to be able to see problems or see issues in the organization or see experiences that they want to simplify and orchestrate those processes in a matter of minutes. So now we can build kind of end-to-end processes, extremely robust. They're consumer grade, so super easy to understand and accomplish, and assign them to people in a matter of minutes. So it's a really great component of our Journeys platform.
Amazing. You mentioned earlier about these Journeys being able to go beyond HR processes. So is that done through APIs and links, or how do you extend to outside systems?
The core part of how we would extend is something called our Journeys Extender. Pretty easy to understand, but what it allows us to do and what we've built in is an orchestration capability that allows us to integrate to systems outside of our HR, ERP, supply chain, and CX kind of platforms that we run on a single instance, but allows you to extend journeys to other systems. So for instance, I was talking about the return to workplace as an example. In that return to workplace journey, we seeded one to request an office space. And we don't have facilities management as part of our platform. So what the Journeys Extender allows you to do is integrate to a third-party facility management system, so automate it all behind the scenes, and have approvals and workflows that happen outside of our system. So the facilities group signs off that you're going and returning to the workplace for a period of time. Maybe the people on site sign off on it. So it's a really simple way to extend workflows and orchestrate processes outside of our HCM or ERP system.
Yeah, fantastic. So there are so many different organizations out in the market today who claim to have employee experience support, from everything from wellness to workflows. And how can our customers kind of work their way through to understand how we are different and how we are going to benefit them versus other different tools and pieces that are out there in the market?
What's great is a lot of different kind of vendors are really coming at this space because it's a really important area, right? We want to simplify the experience for our workforce. We want to make it easy for them to be productive. So we've seen kind of platform vendors come at this space, like Microsoft has just entered this space with their productivity tools and with Teams. A lot of the help desk vendors have been playing in this space, whether it's Salesforce or ServiceNow. We've seen them come and try to orchestrate processes, but I really think our distinct advantage is we are a system of record for many of these systems. And being a system of record, it makes it easy for us to have out-of-the-box integrations to many of the components that exist in our system. So I'll give you an example. If we're doing career development journey, very easy. We have the ability to find a mentor, to add skills to your profile, to go into our opportunity marketplace and sign up for short-term gigs or assignments. So what's unique about what we offer is because we're the system of record and now moving into this enterprise experience platform area, we can both orchestrate the processes in our system as well as integrate to other systems. But a large portion of what employees need to accomplish, we're the system of record for. So that's a key differentiator for us.
Yeah, it's an incredibly exciting initiative, and I'm so glad to see that the press release has gone out and it's now being able to be brought into market. So Chris, congratulations on that massive innovation.
It's great. I'm excited. I couldn't be more excited about this. And like we said earlier, like you started this, this update that we're coming out with and talking about is probably one of our biggest we've had in a number of years. Just so much innovation going in. So while I'm extremely excited about Journeys as an experience platform, that's not the only thing that we're delivering. The next kind of major innovation that we're delivering to the market is all around skills management. And we're certainly investing here. And Yvette, you have a tremendous background in this area, not only in the kind of skills management area, but in the portability of digital credentials. And I know you've done a lot of work in that space, and you are an expert. So I'd love to hear your perspective on where this is going.
I have spent the last probably 3 years focused on trying to answer that fundamental question of how do we as individuals better present ourselves for opportunities in the marketplace. And so technologies like blockchain and self-sovereign digital credentials provide a lot of promise for the future on how we can articulate our skills and our capabilities and take them with us as we move from company to company. But Chris, I've been doing that for 3 years and I've understood that there is a fundamental problem. And there are so many different ways to describe skills, right? I might call myself an oncology nurse, and the person working next to me might call herself or himself a tumor nurse or an oncology CNA or a cancer center RN, right? Their words are different. And if I am dependent upon some keyword matching algorithm to match me to the opportunities, and those words don't match, I'm going to miss out on an opportunity, and the company will miss out on potential talent. And so understanding that the skills and the words that we use to define them differ is the fundamental challenge we have to solve. We've been looking at this as a company. I just joined last November, but I found for several years we've been working on these initiatives around skills and understanding them. And we've been working really closely with customers to get their perspective on what are their challenges with skills, how do they understand fundamentally what are the capabilities of the organization, how do we understand who has those skills, and so forth. In fact, what I'd like to do is listen to what a few of our customers have to say on this topic of skills.
We know that the skill gap is real. In 5 or 10 years, the industry and our company won't be the same. The number one thing that the current employees can do to succeed, I would say, learn how to learn.
We identify skill gaps with the performance evaluation cycle. So we have a really robust program that we have put together. And so we use that to determine whether or not there's a skill gap. And we primarily use our learning management system to address them. So we have content that we get from outside providers, as well as homegrown content that we use to upskill and to provide and fill those gaps. We're always looking for ways to be more efficient. And so we're being very innovative in how to integrate artificial intelligence and machine learning into our processes to allow us to address what we consider to be the changing nature of work.
Oracle offers great new services, Journeys or the digital assistant. And this would address skills we maybe don't have today at a large scale. This is what is driving us at the moment, getting the basics right, and at the same time try to identify the areas where we need to invest in our skills and invest in our approaches to be better.
First, it's great to have an expert on board and really driving this initiative. I couldn't be happier. Effective skills management is an issue that our customers are dealing with clearly from what they just said. What does that investment look like?
Yeah. So at the core of our investment is a new technology called the Skills Assistant. It's a deep learning engine that essentially has been built on a massive amount of data from our business, from customers, from the industry, bringing together over 80,000 skills and job titles together into a global taxonomy. And by bringing that together, it understands, it cleanses, it makes the associations of skills and job titles so that from this massive global ontology, we are now able to make better matching of people to opportunities by understanding all of those various relationships. So this Skills Assistant, again, super intelligent engine. It is fed by all the information of organizations, jobs and resume data and documents, job requisitions, etc. And because it is now able to use this neural net technology that is able to map and understand all the various associations, we now are developing essentially that common language, that understanding of the skills that I was mentioning is a big challenge. We no longer have to worry if a skill is misspelled, if you're using cancer or tumor in your job title. We understand the relationships and now can help organizations faster, better, connect people to work and learning opportunities. And what's really cool though, and what's unique about our approach is that from the day that customers want to deploy this in their organization, we're able to finely tune it to their language, to their skills, to their experience, to their industry and culture, and essentially develop a DNA-specific, essentially, solution for each one of our customers. Because think about it, it's great to have this massive global ontology, but if I'm working in the nuclear industry, for example, I don't want to be presented with recommendations that aren't appropriate for my business. The engine needs to learn from all of that vast amount of information, but ultimately on day one when I deploy, I want it to be specific for me. And the recommendations that the engine should make for a company in nuclear engineering is very different from the recommendations it'll make for a healthcare or a manufacturing organization. So I'm super excited that we have this intelligent, deep learning engine, our skills assistant at the heart, but we're also able to present a very tailored, specific, custom-tailored solution for each customer who deploys this. And the engine is constantly growing and learning and keeping this ontology up to date and keeping our customers up to date. It's a super exciting approach.
It's great. Sounds incredible. And you know how we try to do everything in HCM. We try to make everything part of the suite and everything work together. So how is this going to work across our HCM suite?
Yeah. So good question. And the first point I'm going to make is that indeed this is embedded across our suite. This isn't something that's just applied to learning or to recruiting. This skills assistant is available pervasively across the entire HCM suite. And the way it manifests is this is a constantly running engine in the background. And we are applying it first and foremost to the concept of how do we enrich individuals' profiles. Remember the first use case I said I wanted to solve, how do I present myself? How do we present ourselves as individuals better for opportunities? So we're focusing first and foremost on the individual. So imagine the case of a candidate coming into your organization. Today, they present their resume. The artificial intelligence on the recruiting system will match individuals up. But the challenge for the candidate is they don't necessarily know the skills language that's employed at the employer that they're using. So with the skills assistant, when the candidate is entering their information or uploading their resume, we dynamically take a look at their information and we start making recommendations. We say to that candidate, we see that you've got these skills. We think you probably have these other skills. And we know those recommendations because of others in that similar position, other candidates that we've seen in, and this vast knowledge coming from the skills assistant that brings these the intelligent recommendations forward. So now as a candidate, when I hit submit on that job opportunity, my profile I've been suggested new skills to add. I've accepted some of those skills that yes, indeed were appropriate. I just didn't know the language to use. And now I'm presenting a much enriched profile when I go to apply for jobs. And that's, the goal is to present better opportunities to me. And we do this for employees too, not just, for individuals who are applying for jobs, but as an employee in the organization. We make sure that at the appropriate times, whether you're looking for a new career interest, you are setting up your goals or performance or taking new learning, we very naturally present you with the opportunity to improve your talent profile. We have a unique integration, Chris, with LinkedIn, where we're able to really at any time bring our profile and our skills information from LinkedIn, which we know is usually very robust. But now, in addition to bringing that in, our skills assistant is able to look at it and further enrich that profile for me as an individual. So that was our first focus, was ensuring that profiles were updated. But we also look at the intersection of people and profiles. So as a recruiter, when I'm creating a job requisition, or as a manager, if I'm creating a job description, I'm writing a new job, I'm going to use the language that's natural for me. A recruiter will use it. And most likely, we're going to use the skills libraries that we have already in our organization. But again, just like on the profile side, as I'm writing that information, that requisition, the skills assistant comes into play and it says, hey, I see you're writing this description, you've used these skills. We believe that these would be additional words and skills to use to make this more robust and help you better seek out the talent that's out there to make better connections. So we have used this skills assistant to really augment information across the organization. The goal here is to really address the messiness of the different types of skills languages and usages that are out there, and help organizations detect and uncover talent and skills in a very natural, automated way.
Sounds amazing. And you're doing this and you have the opportunity as we're building this to deliver this for our 3,000 plus customers. So what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's super exciting, obviously, to be focused on delivering this capability and to be using this technology to truly transform our HCM processes just across the board, right? And we are transforming, right? There's now with our skills assistant, we are envisioning a centralized location where, regardless of the skill or the job that you may be thinking about, rather than having to send you off to different self-service transactions, we're bringing it all together. So from the point of a particular skill, if you are interested in growing a skill or increasing your skill level, or you want to demonstrate that you have a skill, while you're doing that, we're able to bring forward that there are perhaps mentors who can help you improve those skills. There's training and development that can help you, and that there are jobs and gig opportunities that may become available as that skill is developed. And when I think about the scale, the impact this is going to have on the labor market across our thousands of customers, I mean, it's phenomenal. So I'm really excited about the future and where we're going with this. So I do want to say, though, I think that the investment in skills and the investment in journeys is super important. And I do want to make sure, though, that as we are bringing out these innovations and that as our customers are adopting them, they're also not losing sight of the importance of returning from the pandemic, right? Returning from people who have been off work or working from home for a long time, and losing sight of things like diversity and inclusion. Because, Chris, we know that women and underrepresented populations have been, disproportionately hurt by the impacts of the pandemic. And as these individuals, as organizations are making decisions about returning people to work and different things, we have to make sure that there are the insights and the tools available to help companies connect with their workforce to make the right decisions and support them in this gradual return to work. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I think this is obviously a key area. And I know in the past, most organizations, and in fact, Oracle from an investment perspective really focused on kind of capturing the details around diversity and inclusion in the system, around workforce demographics, and we'd provide reporting and analysis and do that against benchmarks. And kind of that was level one to provide some visibility into it. But I know we need to go further and take it to the next level. I've been really inspired by hearing what our customers have talked about and how they're tackling diversity, equity, and inclusion in their organizations. And it's been great to hear kind of the different approaches, all trying to accomplish the same thing. So why don't we take a minute and listen to a few of those customers and how they're tackling this problem.
So speaking for myself as opposed to Hearst, the vision for the future would be one where DEI is so embedded in the DNA of everything that we do that it doesn't feel like a separate initiative, that there's not a question ever whether or not you would have a diverse interview loop, whether or not you have enough diverse candidates, and it just becomes the new normal.
If you have an environment where people feel genuinely included and able to be themselves, they are likely to exhibit higher levels of well-being at work. Where you then have people with higher levels of well-being, you start to see more inclusive behaviors.
My vision is really centered around creating equity. Equity of opportunity, equity of access, equity of outcomes when it comes to all of our people across the world.
I think if we are most effective as diversity practitioners at driving diversity and embedding it throughout our respective organizations, there's no need for a diversity office. There's no need for diversity officers because it's so embedded in what we do on a day-to-day basis throughout our organizations.
So it was great to hear what our customers are doing. Diversity, equity, inclusion is a boardroom topic. We've been making investments in our Oracle HCM platform for a number of years, and we've really been investing. But as our customers are really trying to not make just identifying issues and benchmarking where there's gaps, they're really trying to drive operationally and make diversity and inclusion processes as part of their day-to-day activities. And so we've seen what our customers are doing, and we've gotten feedback, and we've seen what Oracle internally is doing. And we've tried to adopt our systems and build technology to really support how we can take what we've learned and build it into the operational processes. So one of the areas that we've been investing is all around the recruiting process and really trying to anonymize the candidate and make the candidate just be based on their skills and their competencies, and being able to remove as much bias from the hiring process as possible. So our investments, our Oracle, are really trying to mirror what our customers are doing and trying to embed change and embed what we're doing into the processes or fabric of our solution so our customers can adopt that.
Yeah, so many organizations focus on the insights and, measuring against diversity and equity KPIs, but that's not enough. And so your comment about recruiting is super important. I was excited to see, our investments in connections, right? The opportunity for people to identify themselves, and even something as simple as being able to articulate, how should you pronounce my name? People ask me, are you Yvette? Are you Yvette? And it's great for those, who can really demonstrate who they are through the connections and find others and find groups and communities and really focus on that sense of belonging. I also think about our opportunity marketplace. I think diversity and inclusion, as I said, it's not just about the metrics and not just about belonging. It's also about transparency. Because if you don't have trust in the company that you work for, if there's not transparency and communication and opportunities, it really puts up a barrier, and it's really a challenge for that. And so in our opportunity marketplace, people are able to see short-term opportunities, gigs and jobs, et cetera, where they can grow their career, they can drive new skills into their background. And it's a great way for organizations to say, we're here to support you and to help you grow your skills and grow your career here within the organization.
I couldn't agree more. I think the whole inclusive part and belonging is really a key part of what we can deliver. And just to kind of take it a step further, some of the capabilities that we have, the ability to find a mentor in our application and mentorship, and finding people like you that can help mentor you into the next role. I think that's really important. You mentioned communities. I do think that's key, and communities that you can join of people like you or what you aspire to be within the organization from a career perspective, I think is great. And even our Journeys platform that we're just launching now, the ability to make sure that you're recognizing people as they get promoted or they move into a new position, or it's an anniversary, right? And just recognizing, or it's been 5 years at the company and just letting them know that you care. Those types of things that you can create through our Journeys platform is great. But from a kind of product development perspective, we know that customers will approach their diversity and inclusion programs a little bit differently. And so we want to make sure that we're listening to our customers, and that's always a big thing, and hearing, what capabilities they want us to build to be able to support their programs, because everybody's going to do things a little bit differently. So our investments will continue, and we'll look to continually extend what we've done, but we want to make sure we provide the right capabilities for customers to drive these programs throughout their organizations.
Fantastic. I am just super excited about these initiatives we've talked about today. Chris, as the head of the entire HR line of business, and as its senior thought leader who's been incubating a lot of this, let me just ask you one final question, if you don't mind. Really, for you, what's your top priority over the next 12 to 15 months?
That I always talk about with our team, and we really try to focus on. I always give them kind of 3 high-level objectives. And the first is really being customer obsessed and really focusing on making sure that our customers are satisfied with the product that we're delivering, that we're helping them not only get live and successful, but we're helping them grow in their careers, and we're helping them adopt new functionality. We're helping them if they ever have an issue or a problem, we're there to make sure that they're successful. So what I really focus my team on is first and foremost being customer obsessed and being passionate about success with our customers. The second is all around innovation, right? We've talked about 3 great innovations here today. Employee experience platform, we talked about diversity, equity, inclusion, and we've talked about dynamic skills management, and those things are huge, and they're big investments for us, but we have to continue to push the envelope on innovation, and that's what our customers expect from us, and that's what we'll continue to do. So innovation is a key thing that we're always looking at. And then finally, customer partnership. I'm a big believer in it's a two-way street. And so everything we do revolves around listening to our customers, whether it's through customer advisory boards or our Customer Cloud Connect, where they can give us feedback either through discussion threads or ideas of enhancements that we can put into the product. And one of the statistics that I'm most proud about is approximately 80% of the features that we put into every single update is sourced from our customers. And that shows that we're listening and that partnership is there. So when I talk to my team, it's all about customer obsession, it's all about innovation, and it's all about customer partnership. So at the high level, those are the things that we think about and focus on every single day.
Fantastic. Chris, it was great to see you today. Thanks for taking time.
It's great. Thank you, Yvette.
Be obsessed about the basics and your data, which is underlying every single service you will produce from now on in the future.
Part of the job that I think I have in working with my HCM teams is to remind people that we've invested in an incredibly robust system that will allow them to do more than they think they can if they just take the time to reach out and learn.
So what does your data tell you? What does your people data tell you? And what stories are your employees giving you?
We have a significant role in ensuring that we create a culture within our respective organizations that allows individuals to bring their full self to work. I don't have to leave who I am at home, but I have an opportunity to contribute to my organization by being who I am and bringing that aspect of who I am into the workplace.
I also encourage the DEI practitioners and allies to think beyond their company to society at large. When we tackle together systemic racism, institutionalized economic inequality, social issues, it lifts the whole tide, right, for all of us.
When decisions involve people, being human and humane is fundamental. Focus on the development of people, and your business results will come naturally.